Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be going through and ranking the best shooting guards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on a tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 25,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Let me know in the comment section down below, what shooting guards are y'all running right now? Because I know there's probably a lot of variety considering the amount of gambling shooting guards there are in the game. I mean, obviously between all these types of different guys, there's going to be a good amount of variety considering how many good different options there are. So let me know who y'all are running and what your favorite shooting guards in the game are personally. But we'll start off with the non-gambling option. Allen Houston, a 6'5" dude with a really nice release who actually has pretty solid shot creation ability. Pro 2 fade is maybe the best fade in the game, and that's what he's got as well, which is a W. And he's not a bad defender either. I think he's super duper solid, and honestly, B tier feels a little low. I think A tier is fair. Really, really good card. He's got a very good release as well. He's a solid option. I would love to put Iggy in S tier, but I don't think I can on this list. I mean, as good as he is, there are a few guys that I would say are better than him at the shooting guard position. He is high A to me, though, and he might be low S. Still a very, very good, solid option at the shooting guard position with a great release who slashes at a high level, or not an insane release, but a very, very good fade. He's got Pro 2 as well in the fade. He's an elite slasher, and he's an amazing defender as well. Plays bigger than 6'6". I like the card a lot. Wiggins is 6'7". He's a pretty darn good defender, but he doesn't have movable enforcer, so that is kind of annoying. Release is pretty good. Doesn't have great SIGs, I would say. The more I compare him and Allen Houston, I think Allen Houston's probably a little better. I definitely like Iggy more. He's like almost B. In fact, I think I might put him B, but he is a good card, so I don't want to like put him too low on the list. I think Ben Mathurin's pretty, I mean, at the shooting guard position, which is best of the best, I think it's fair to put Ben Mathurin in C. He's not special at all. He just, I don't know. He's not. He just, his release is fine, but his SIGs aren't great. His animations aren't unbelievable. Nothing about that card is special. Same thing with Brandon Ingram. Does not have elite level SIGs, and honestly, his release is pretty bad too. And I think release is super duper important in shooting guard. In fact, release is one of the most important things in shooting guard. If you have a bad release, it kind of kills everything else, especially at the 2 guard position and some of these perimeter positions. So for me, I think that's another pretty easy C tier. Brandon Miller's B tier to me. He is like 6'9" at shooting guard. He's a pretty good, versatile defender as well. Not a bad card at all. He might be A. I don't know. I think Brandon Miller's pretty good. He's got a nice release. His SIGs could be a little better, but he is a really, really nice 6'9" shooting guard. So, like, he can definitely compete. I just think there are still a lot of better shooting guards than him. I'll put B-Roy in S. Great stats and badges, obviously. Great card with a very nice release. The only complaint is that his escape is not the best of the best. But overall, I think he himself is one of the very best shooting guards in the game. I think definitely S tier. Honestly, Carmelo's probably also S tier. He is 6'7" with half movable enforcer, elite level defense as well, which is a rarity for a Carmelo card. But this one definitely does defend. And he is just, I mean, he's got a good fade, and his release is phenomenal. Pro 2 fade, I believe, on Melo as well. Very, very good card. Go at S tier for him. I think Elgin Baylor probably deserves A tier. He has good SIGs. He's a great slasher. He's an awesome versatile defender. Tons of Hoff interior badges like anchor removal enforcer, and he's super athletic with a nice release. That card's actually super good. Like, I like him a lot better. Not a lot better, but I think he's probably better than Brandon Ingram or Brandon Miller and Andrew Wiggins. Definitely better than Ben Mathurin and Brandon Ingram. I honestly think A tier doesn't feel that out of place for him. Franz Wagner's 6'10", and that's valuable. It is. And he's got a nice release. He's got D-book dribble style, so he's got a little bit to work with. But he doesn't have great SIGs. He's not an unbelievably great defender, although he's a pretty good one. He's a good slasher, but again, I just don't think he quite cracks like the best of the best, the shooting guard position. But B tier is super solid. He's a very good 6'7" shooting guard. Gerald Wallace is a great defender. Offensively, he's a very good slasher, and he has pretty good shooting badges, but he's not a shot creator at all. He's a little bit limited in some ways, and I think low A is probably fair for Gerald Wallace. As good as he is defensively, his offensive shortcomings hold him back at least a little bit. Glenn Rice is in his own tier, obviously. He has to have his own tier. Glenn Rice is that man. He's the best card in the game. He is Patty Mills base. And he is my sunshine. I am super excited to get this Glenn Rice card. He is the most fun card in the game to use as well. Probably the most overpowered with his release. That Patty Mills base is insanity, and Glenn Rice is just an absolute dog of a shot creator and a scorer. I think he is a little bit overpowered right now. The way this game is going to play when every card has Patty Mills base in July is going to be so horrible. I promise y'all I will not be playing it. But right now, with just Glenn Rice having it, it's kind of a blast. And I am very excited to get that card personally on my team here in the near future and try him out. But yeah, he's pretty easily S tier. He is in his own tier, but not even S tier. He's pretty easily in his own tier. He's the best shooting guard in the game for sure. I think Grant Hill is worse than Iggy, but I don't think by a ton. I think he doesn't have a move enforcer, but he is 2 inches taller. He's got a good release, good SIGs, and he's very complete outside of a move enforcer. But I think A tier is probably very fair for him. I wouldn't quite go S. If I'm moving anybody up from A tier, it's going to be Iggy for sure. J.R. Smith is so mid. He's C tier. He is not a special shooting guard at all. I didn't really include very many bad cards, but J.R. Smith is not great at all. Release is super mediocre. He doesn't do anything on the court all that well. Jaime Jaquez. This card on paper is really, really solid, but I don't think his animations are very good. That's the really disappointing part about it, because I actually think Jaime would have been pretty good if his animations were a little better, but he's got every defensive badge in the game on gold. He's a very, very good shooter and dunker, and his SIGs aren't really pretty bad, and I've heard his release isn't very good either, so he's very limited as a shooting guard, which does hold him back a lot, because otherwise I think he actually would have been pretty good. J-Dub looks solid. Jalen Williams, he looks okay. I have not actually used this card as I record this video because he came out today, but he's only 6'5", which is small, but he's got a 7'2" wingspan, which does help make up for that. 27 hoffs, really well-rounded hoffs. He defends on the interior at a very high level, very versatile defender, which is super nice. 95 driving dunk. Releases on very quick, and he's got, besides hardness game, he's got pretty good SIGs. You can use the between the legs burst with hardness skate pretty effectively and be just fine. Overall, I like J-Dub. I think he's pretty good. I think probably low B tier is fair. James Jones is missing a absolute crap ton of badges. I do not like that card. I think D tier is fair. He is so incomplete, it is not even funny. It's definitely, in my opinion, a D tier guy. Jaylen Brown has a bad release. He's got Pro 2 Fade. He's a very good dunker and a pretty good defender, but he has a bad release, and that is something that's kind of a card killer at this point in the year, so I think C tier is definitely fair. Definitely would put Tatum in S tier. I love this Tatum card. I know his SIGs aren't the best of the best, but his release really is, and Pro 2 Fade is also phenomenal. So a 6'8" shooting guard with a lot of versatility, a lot of defense, and a really great release and fade is more than enough for me, even without the best of the best other animations. I like Iggy more than Jimmy Butler, personally. I think they're both very good, and I think, honestly, I kind of almost want to move them both up to S tier, but I don't think I can because there's a bunch of cards left that are still deserving of S tier. So I think I have to leave these guys in A tier. In fact, I might even have to start shifting cards down a little bit. Like I think Jaquez, y'all can go down here. We're going to put him down there. We're going to slide Elgin down a tier, and I think we'll put Gerald Wallace there as well because of his lack of shot creation ability. I think this is fair. Slide it down a little bit, make it a little more even. I just want, I know these cards are good. Even the guys in C tier are not bad. I just think having a more even tier list is generally a good thing. And honestly, John Havlicek's a really good free card as well, so he deserves an A tier spot. He's 6'5" with a great release. Honestly, the only complaint about this card is that he can't same side burst, and then he's only 6'5". He's got a bad same side hezzy, so he can do the diagonal up burst if you know how to trigger that, obviously, and it doesn't have to be an issue if you know how to do that. But his fade is amazing. His release is amazing. He is really, really good as an overall card. I mean, for sure. He's, I would say, pretty easily A tier, in my opinion. And, yeah. Chris Middleton's probably C. He's got Trey Fade. He's an okay defender. His release is pretty slow, though. He's not a great card. He's pretty mid, I would say. Honestly, I almost want to put him D tier, but I don't think I'm going to. Clay is like 3 and D, but not much else. I don't love his fade. I like his release, but he doesn't shot create all that well. Yes, he's pretty athletic and can dunk the ball well, but it never feels like he's that great of a slasher. I think B tier is fair. Opal Kobe's going to go with S tier. I just realized I don't think I put Pink Diamond Kobe on this list. Pink Diamond Kobe would probably be A tier at this point, to be honest, but I didn't separate them, so you could obviously argue Pink Diamond Kobe is S tier too. Kobe's are still obviously insane and just play at a super high level all the time. Very, very pleased with Kobe's cards this year. That Pink Diamond Kobe's longevity was just absolutely incredible, and definitely S tier for me is Opal Kobe. Manu Ginobili stinks. He's D tier. His release is bad. He's small. He's just not very good. Honestly, Nick Young is really solid. He is a very, very, very good offensive card with a nice release and Jamal Murray behind the back, and not a bad defender either. Not the best defender in the game. I wouldn't quite go S tier, considering I still have like 4 other guys that I'm looking at on this list that are S tier at least. So I gotta save some space up there. But I think S is fair for him. Ray Allen is like, he's super mid. He does have a better release than the guys in D tier, pretty much, except for James Jones, who's just not complete enough. But I almost still want to put him in D tier. I just don't think he's that good of a card. Richard Jefferson is going to go D tier. His release is a absolutely horrible catapult jump shot, which really kind of kills that card, because otherwise he's actually pretty good, but his release is really rough. Ricky Davis is as good as any shooting guard in the game, not named Glenn Rice. He is right at the top of S tier. Amazing SIGs, a very good defender, great release. I mean, he is the closest thing, in my opinion, to Glenn Rice at the shooting guard position, and arguably the second best shooting guard in the game. You could also argue Ron Artest is the second best shooting guard in the game, though. Hoff, a movable enforcer, tons of defense, tons of versatility, amazing animations, and elite release, and Jamal Murray behind the back, good SIGs. Like, again, elite level card. Both Ricky Davis and Ron Artest are in-game caliber shooting guards for sure, and easily S tier. And then we got another S tier shooting guard right there in Scottie Pippen, who may not have quite the same level of shot creation, but just like Tatum, is 6'8" with elite defense, a great fade, Pro 2, and an elite level release, and is still a really, really valuable, really good card. So I think those four are my favorite in S tier. I think Shane Battier is literally Gerald Wallace. Also does not have SIGs, has a pretty okay release, and is a very good slasher and defender, but cannot create his own shot to save his life, so I think B tier for sure. Terrence Ross is super mid, questionable release as well, so honestly, I'm going D tier for him. His release is pretty bad. And then we have T-Mac, who is S tier, obviously, because he's 100 overall, and he's absolutely incredible with top tier SIGs. I think he's pretty much got perfect SIGs and perfect stats and perfect badges, and he's 6'8" at the shooting guard position with a very good release. He is, again, close to as good as a shooting guard is going to get this year. And then you have Vince Carter, who honestly also has to go S tier to me. I like Vince Carter more than I like Brandon Roy and Carmelo Anthony, probably. This Vince Carter card has a Pro 2 fade, which, again, like I've talked about, I absolutely love. But his release is money. He actually dribbles quite well. He's an amazing slasher, and he's a much more versatile and better defender than people realize. Has Hoff, a movable enforcer. Really complete card. As a whole, the shooting guard position is really good, man. Yes, it's a little top heavy. A lot of cards in S tier, and Glenn in his own tier, obviously, at the top. But I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.